Father's love is a strong and mighty fortress. Raise your voice now. No love is greater. Who can stand against us if our God is for us? Even when I stumble, even when I fall, even when I turn back, still your love is sure. You will not abandon, you will not forsake. You will cheer me on with a never-ending grace. Sing with joy now, our God is for us. The Father's love is a strong and mighty fortress. Raise your voice now, no love is greater. Who can stand against us if our God is for us? Neither height nor depth can separate us. Hell and death will not defeat us. He who gave his Son to free us holds me in his love. Neither height nor depth can separate us. Hell and death will not defeat us. He who gave his Son to free us holds me in his love. Sing with joy now, our God is for us. The Father's love is a strong and mighty fortress. Raise your voice now, no love is greater. Who can stand against us if our God is for us? Sing with joy now, our God is for us. The Father's love is a strong and mighty fortress. Raise your voice now, no love is greater. Who can stand against us if our God is for us?
Great. Good afternoon to you and a welcome to our ReLaunch, Wednesday ReLaunch. Nice to see you back here again. And with the easing of restrictions as of Monday, then next Wednesday, hopefully, you'll get some good soup as well. We'll kind of bump it up from the refreshments that you got today, so back to good soup like that. Warm welcome to those of you joining online as well, wherever you are, whatever your circumstances. Lovely to have you with us today, and I hope that the brief time that we'll have together like this will be a time of refreshment and encouragement for you as well. What we're going to think about a little bit just in the few moments we have together this afternoon is probably best introduced by a Peanuts cartoon. You will remember Charles Schulz. He was a kind of pastor, and he had these cartoon strips. Usually there were kind of 4 little boxes, and they featured Charlie Brown and his pals, and Snoopy the dog, and Woodstock the bird there. And here is one where Snoopy starts off by saying, if you had a philosophy of life, kind of what would it be? And Woodstock, who doesn't speak English, obviously, that's a little bird, the budgie type of bird. The next few slides you'll see there, that's his answer, and you can pick that up immediately, understand exactly what he's saying, and that's it. His philosophy of life is small is beautiful. And there's a lot of truth in that we're going to think a little bit about today. Small is beautiful. And you maybe think that I'm not the best person really to be speaking along those lines, given that I'm 6'3" and I weigh a whole ton, not quite, but I'm not exactly what you'd call small. And here I am 3 steps higher than anyone else anyway. But there is a very basic and important truth that the Bible all the way through it is reminding us that actually we are We are small. Doesn't matter what size we are, doesn't matter how clever we are, doesn't matter how rich we are, doesn't matter how old we are. We are, in terms of the vastness of the universe and in terms of the greatness of God, we are really, really small. And recognizing that actually we're not the center of the world, recognizing that we are just small, just individuals within the vastness of God's world, recognizing our place means that we learn to look to the Lord in the right sort of way. And there's a load of stories in the Bible that relate to that. And we're picking up on one through the month of January in the book of Judges. The book of Judges is from a long time back. And it tells us the story of a number of different leaders that came to the fore, and came to the fore at a time when the people of Israel were just kind of struggling. They were going off the rails, they were messing up, they were going their own way, doing their own thing and that sort of thing. And as a result, they ended up in a whole load of trouble. All sorts of problems came, social problems, political problems, and so on. And leaders, they eventually looked to the Lord and said, please help us. And God raised up leaders who came to their help, aided by God himself. And through the month of January, we're just thinking a little bit about the story of one of these leaders who lived a long, long time ago. He was called Gideon. And we're going to read in from the start of chapter 7, and you'll see how it plays into this theme of small is beautiful. Early in the morning, Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, because he had that original name, and all his men encamped at the spring of Harod, the camp of Midian. They were the enemy, they were the invaders, was north of them in the valley near the hill of Moreh. Now, we need to get our bearings in this. You've got a little bit of an insight into this last week of you here when we were looking at the previous chapter, the start of the story of Gideon. We'll move the picture on and go back to the small is beautiful slide there. And you'll see in the story that it's about a small guy. Gideon was aware that he was small. So when God comes to him and says, listen, I've got a job for you to do. I'm going to ask you and call you to lead my people and remove the invaders. Gideon's response immediately is to say, you got the wrong guy. Why? Because I come from the smallest clan, the tribe of Manasseh, a small tribe, and my family is the least in the clan. You just got the wrong guy. I'm a wee man here. I'm not a big player. I'm not a big name. I've not got a whole load of stuff going for me. You got the wrong guy. He is very conscious of his smallness. And he's also conscious that the invading army, the people of Midian, they have a massive army. And I put up on the screen there for you. They came up with their livestock and their tents like swarms of locusts. I don't know if you've ever seen a swarm of locusts. It is a frightening, scary sight. There are not just millions of them, there are billions of them. And the locusts coming up like that, it's dreadful when they appear. And that's what it was like. They were just, wherever you looked, they were there. Just barrel loads of them, millions and millions of these folk, swarms of them, impossible to count them. There were that many. So what we got here is a situation where you got this guy Gideon, who kind of feels on his own and feels that he's just a small player. He's got nothing really to fall back on. And in the other corner is a massive enemy that has occupied the land for some 20 years or so. Every summer they just came in and took all the harvest away and looted the place like that. And the people of Israel didn't stand a chance. And that's the starting point. You've got this guy Gideon who is very small against a massive enemy. Verse 2, the Lord said to Gideon, you have too many men. I cannot deliver Midian into their hands, or Israel would boast against me. My own strength has saved me. Now announce to the army, anyone who trembles with fear may turn back and leave Mount Gilead. So 22,000 men left while 10,000 remained. Okay, so we have the story going on here, and you've got this guy Gideon who's called to lead the people of Israel, and he's starting off with 32,000, which is 10,000 than you'd ever get in Petraudry, and he's thinking even that over against the people of Midian, the Midianite army, that's not going to count for much. He's thinking 32,000, that's a small amount compared to the thousands and hundreds of thousands that have invaded the land like that. That's hardly going to be enough, and the Lord says to him, hey, you got too many. And he must have been scratching his head and thinking, really, too many? It seems too few to me. And the Lord says, so anyone amongst your army, anyone that wants to go home because they're frightened, you have permission from the Lord to leave. And so he has 22,000 leave. He has to do the maths pretty quickly. And you can do the maths, same as Gideon can do the maths. You subtract 22,000 from 32,000, you end up with 10,000. And now you only have a third of what already in the very beginning seemed like a small number of people. And Gideon is thinking to himself, now I'm down to only 10,000 against this huge army. What on earth is going on? So far as the Lord is concerned, small is beautiful. And it's not even begun yet so far as the Lord is concerned, because as the story goes on, verse 4, the Lord said to Gideon, there are still too many men. Gideon be scratching his head and thinking, too many men, come on. Take them down to the water, I will thin them out for you there. If I say this one shall go with you, he shall go. But if I say this one shall not go with you, he shall not go. So Gideon took the men down to the water. There the Lord told him, separate those who lap the water with their tongues as a dog laps from those who kneel down to drink. 300 of them drank from cupped hands, lapping like dogs, and all the rest got down on their knees to drink. And the Lord said to Gideon, with the 300 men that lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Let all the others go home. So Gideon sent the rest of the Israelites home, but kept the 300. Okay, so now the 10,000, as we go back to the kind of small is beautiful picture there, he's now reduced from 10,000, and he's found that the Lord has kind of culled the thing down, so he's only got 300 now. 300 who didn't lap in the way that the others did. They were ready, they were on their guard, and he's doing the maths here quite easily. Suddenly the amount that he's left with is less than 1% of what he originally had, which in the very beginning he thought was pretty small in the first place. And he's thinking, what on earth is going on here? 300. And the explanation is very simple. The explanation is one that has already been given to Gideon in an earlier verse there. Small is beautiful so far as the Lord is concerned. And he gives the reason back in verse 2. The Lord said to Gideon, you've too many men. I cannot deliver Midian into their hands, or Israel would boast against me. My own strength has saved me. And what the Lord wanted to be quite clear from this whole situation was that it's not because Gideon is a good leader, it's not because Israel has a good army, it's not because of anything that any of them are able to do. It is pure and simple because God is mighty to save. And it doesn't matter how problematic the situation may be, it doesn't matter how big the enemy, the opposition may be, it doesn't matter how many hundreds of thousands of people that kind of come swarming into the land, it doesn't matter how big the problem may seem to be, God is always able to rescue. And he wanted the people to be quite clear about that the way in which they were going to get rescued, the way in which they were going to get saved, was not dependent upon their resources, their abilities, their strength, or anything like that. It was dependent upon the living God himself. And so he reduces it right down until it is plain as daylight that there is absolutely no way that it could be Gideon or the Israelites at all that are able to do that. It must be God himself. And that becomes a kind of pattern in the way in which God works in our lives. He delights to choose the weak things to shame, he says, the strong. And one of the things that Paul himself outlined and underlined very clearly in one of his letters was simply, he put it like this, God had made it clear to him, my power is made perfect in your weakness. That's the way God works. So we often are conscious of our weakness, and in that weakness, God says, now, you can't rely on yourself. You can't rely on others. I will be the one who rescues you. I will be the one who helps you. And that's what he's come to do in Jesus, come to rescue us. And the more conscious we are of our own weakness, our own inability to be the people that we want to be, to live as we know we should live, and so on, the more we become conscious of that, then the more ready we are to look to the Lord to be the one to rescue us and he is the great rescuer. Small, from that point of view, is beautiful because it means we start looking to the one who is our strength and our Redeemer and our help. And I hope that that's something that you're able to hold on to in the face of your weakness, the face of the problems that you're facing, in the face of the difficulties, the challenges that leave you scratching and wondering, how on earth am I going to do this? You're not going to do it, but he can. What you can't do, he can do, and he's glad to do so. You look to him, you ask him, you trust him, and you learn simply to live your life on that basis. You're weak, he's strong, and he does the business for you. Let me pray. Lord, you know all our circumstances, you know our particular needs, you know our particular burdens, particular problems, things that are kind of weighing on our minds at this time. We'd ask simply that whatever that may be, for some it's maybe health issues, for some it's maybe issues of bereavement and sorrow, for some it's maybe a financial situation, for some it's a relational problem and they're wondering how on earth can I get this sorted out. We can't, Lord, but you can. And simply would ask you this afternoon, please just do it in the situations that are ours, that we lay before you again this afternoon. Do it, and we'll give you the praise and you the glory as the one who alone is our great rescuer. You are for us, and we're glad of that. Help us to rest in that knowledge. For your own name's sake. Amen. Well, we're going to play out this afternoon with that song, God is For Us. You may just want to listen to the words of the song as you chat with one another as well. Lovely song, lovely truth, and that's the bottom line. God is for us. So enjoy the rest of the afternoon, enjoy the rest of the week, and God be with you, and may you live in that light.